Hello friends, hope you are well. TechManPat here, and today we are reviewing the Thermaltake Argent K5 RGB mechanical keyboard. The first question you have to answer is, what the hell does Argent mean? Well, it turns out it means silver, and would you look at it, it is actually silver. It's some sort of heraldic tincture. Now this 369 Australian dollar mechanical keyboard is hefty, silver, and has RGB. So does the color quality and features justify the rather high price? Stay tuned to find out, and big thanks to Thermaltake for sending me this keyboard for review, and make sure you like this video if you did and subscribe to support us. So let's get started and roll the intro. I'll start with the build quality and aesthetics, because I feel like that's where the majority of your money has actually sunk into. The keyboard certainly draws your eyes with the 2mm settle to the plate, and it adds a lot of heft and quality to the actual keyboard. The matte black numpad breaks apart the potentiality of the keyboard looking rather generic, especially if the whole thing was just silver. I like the design, and looking at it from the top is certainly a treat that screams quality without being too tacky. Holding it up is no different. You can feel the build quality, and it feels like it's filled with coins. It's extremely heavy, which at least means it stays in one spot on your desk. Overall, the Argent K5 is extremely solid with no flex in the middle, but at the same time it's overly thick, and I don't think it needs to be that chunky, which is something I personally didn't like about it. Having it sit on my desk felt bulky, while the desk itself is large. The keyboard made it feel small again, which is something I personally didn't like. Having it sit on my desk felt bulky, and while the desk itself is rather large, the keyboard made it feel small again. Now these keycaps are rather tall and remind me of the classic Dell mechanical keyboards from way back when, and I do feel the amount of icons printed at the keycaps reduce the feeling of the premiumness that it touts, and the price also dictates. Now I'm referring to the top F1 and F12 keys, who look tacky with the extra male icons, and again it looks more like the Dell mechanical keyboard of yesteryear with a really nice new chassis, which will certainly appeal to some. Now I know you're itching to hear about the RGB, but hold onto your tinfoil hats for a second longer. Looking around the keyboard, we find media controls, and they're plastic, non-mechanical, but still backlit, which is absolutely nice. Now I found myself using the media controls often enough in Windows 11, which natively supports the buttons without any software. So whether you're playing in the background, you can pause, play, skip, and stop. Of course, we cannot forget about the volume control. Thermaltake calls it car audio style volume control, but I call it prone to breaking down knob. Alright, lower your pitchforks. Yes, it looks cool, and I'll give props to Thermaltake for the design idea. It is multi-purpose. You can mute the sound by pressing it inwards, and the wheel click is really satisfying as you spin. They show in their media content how your thumb and index finger adjusts the volume, like so. However, the instructions aside, because nobody really reads them and watches these videos, many people will try and use their index finger like so, and that's where the trouble really starts. The way it is positioned and connected creates a leverage downwards when using it with one finger, and with enough play, it really bends. You know, manufacturing tolerances aside, they don't help either, and so this volume knob does not move when controlling it from the top with your index finger, or at least it's not as smooth. As you push it to spin, it kind of just stops. It touches a silver frame, which acts like speed brakes for this car audio. Apart from the build quality, which is good, plenty of metal, rounded corners, brilliant finish, and high quality plastic chassis, there is the RGB. So put away your tinfoil hats, let's get started. Gaming keyboards have a hard time being gamery without a bit of color, and I have to admit, the RGB on the keyboard is pretty darn good. At night it's almost blinding, and during the day it's very pleasant and visible. The Thermaltake RGB Plus software gives you a lot of control, and you need it because there's a lot to do. The ecosystem that Thermaltake has built for its RGB family certainly gives reason to buy other Thermaltake products to match it up, and so you can control it all one from software. Now the 60 million colors doesn't mean much these days, as every manufacturer has it, and it just means that LEDs display 24-bit colors using 3 bytes per pixel, either bits for each red, green, and blue. This is also called true color and RGB, hence the total of 16 million colors can be represented in the color palette. Now the underside of the keyboard also has an RGB illuminated strip that really pops in the evening with no other lights around. It certainly makes it feel like you're sitting down to play Tokyo Drift in space. Alright, let's talk about the really important stuff. Gaming and typing. Now gaming wise, great, no issues at all. Keys are very responsive, balanced with actually no wobble, and the keyboard comes with spare keycaps, and I would suggest you get them installed straight away. For some reason, the keycaps feel like they'll quickly fade away, but it's not scientific, it's just a feeling when I touch it. Let's look at the typing now. I would say this is not the most ergonomic keyboard I have ever used. In fact, typing up this review, my left hand had intermittent pain, and I have no history of pain, and I have tested many keyboards, and for some reason this one in particular was causing me, personally, a bit of strain. Now, I believe it was due to the height, and adjusting it to about level 2 and the 3 steps that it can take helped. Now the keys are shorter in the middle, as you can sort of see, and then go a bit taller on the outside, which is supposed to be ergonomic, and it's even worse without the wrist rest, which is a must with this keyboard. But the magnetic wrist rest is nothing to write home about. The leather is thin, and I believe the slightest sharp edge will completely tear it apart. I have also doubts about how long it will last against naturally occurring acids and oils in your palms as you game or use it for long periods of time. However, typing on this keyboard, I found myself making very little mistakes. I believe I was hitting the right keys without looking down much more often than any other keyboard, even with the pain. And it was a dream experience when I was writing my thoughts down. I can see why writers use typewriters or mechanical keyboards to write their books. It just feels right, and it feels like I'm actually making sense on paper, or rather digital paper. Now the Cherry MX Silver is poised towards gamers because of its promise of low actuation and travel times, but I would say typists will like the switches too. Yes, gamers rejoice, it's extremely responsive for the most demanding of esports games, but typists, you'll be happy too. Now overall your mileage may vary, and if you're considering this keyboard, make sure to test it out at a shop. Really paramount with these things because you're going to obviously spend a lot and it's going to last you a long time. Finally, the extras that round out this product. The keyboard has a USB and 3.5mm pass-through at the top over here. I'm kind of surprised with the 3.5mm pass-through, as wireless headphones tend to be the norm these days, but nonetheless it's very much appreciated. Now personally, I really like the USB pass-through, especially when we have a wireless mouse. It's perfect spot for a dongle, but I doubt you'll be putting out memory cards or memory USB things out of the top here for USB storage or quick changing. So who is this keyboard for? Well, after spending 2 weeks with it, I can imagine a person who codes, plays video games, and does it all from home. Someone who wants to buy this keyboard and show it off a decade later how it still works and it looks like it has been through World War III and ends up in a museum. This keyboard feels extremely solid. I believe this keyboard stands above others on its incredible build quality, satisfying switches that are rated for 50 million clicks, and beautiful RGB, while the price is rather high compared to its competition. It certainly has some features that make it unique, but I just don't know if I can justify the price. Now, reviewing this keyboard, I had to put a bit more harshness to it due to the actual price range being $369, recommended retail price. After all, the price creates high expectations, but at the time of recording, the Argent K5 is $300 on Amazon Australia. Links below if you want to check it out. So if you see it at an even lower price, then you have found yourself a bargain for a great keyboard. So friends, thank you very much for watching. Thanks to Thermaltake for sending me this keyboard for review. I would like to hear your thoughts about the price and its features, so comment below, and while you're down there, smash the like button if this video helped you decide what keyboard is right for you. And if you'd like to support us, then tap the subscribe button. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye!